definition of professional degrees and capping their ability to receive federal loans. I know that in my home state of Minnesota, we're expecting to face a shortage of 30,000 nurses in the next 4 years. And I know that your home state of North Carolina, it is expected to see a shortage of 13,000. Our nurses obviously are limited in their capacity, they're overworked, and they're worried. So I know you said the decision is final, but I'm just trying to figure out if you can answer, why did you move forward with an action that you know is going to be creating a problem or worsening a problem that already exists?
Look, folks, if you want to see the exact moment emotional talking points crash hard into real-world economics, that snippet right there is it. Representative Ilhan Omar came into this hearing with the classic Washington playbook. Throw out scary numbers about nursing shortages, accuse the Trump administration of making education unreachable, and try to trap Secretary Linda McMahon into a gotcha moment. But Secretary McMahon, she didn't take the bait. Not even close. She came in with cold, hard facts, basic supply and demand, and completely dismantled the idea that throwing unlimited federal loan money at colleges actually helps anyone. It was refreshing to watch a leader speak to Congress like an adult who actually understands how business and markets work. Before we jump into full exchange and break down why McMahon's approach is long overdue, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss another Real Talk political breakdown. And let me know in the comments right now. Are you tired of colleges jacking up tuition because Washington keeps writing blank checks? Let's talk about it down below. All right, let's roll the rest of this exchange and break down what's really going on.
First of all, let me correct one thing. We did not remove any of these professions from a professional category. They were never characterized in the law, in the statute, as a professional category. So as these caps were put into place, and many professions were then being reviewed as to what constituted a professional category, guided by the definition of a professional degree from Congress. So that was the overview that we looked at as we were writing this new rulemaking, with the overall goal of putting caps in place that are going to reduce the cost of college.
How is that happening?
Well, I have a couple of articles here already that there are colleges.
What do they say?
They are saying that they are looking at reducing the cost of their graduate program.
I know, but looking is not addressing the problem that we're currently seeing. What I am asking you is that you've made a decision that is currently making the problem worse.
That is not correct. Let me push back on that.
Are you saying the numbers in Minnesota that we're seeing or in North Carolina are not real?
Well, what I'm saying to you is there are shortages in those states, primarily in the undergraduate nursing program, which is not affected by this new rule and this new cap. Undergraduate programs are not affected at all by this cap. I know, but can you only graduate programs? So the shortage is not a result of this cap being put on. The shortage of nursing is that we don't have enough applicants into the nursing programs that are coming through our universities.
So instead of helping with the problem, you've decided to make it worse?
I don't think you ran when I talked about another way to get to an RN, an expedited program. You can get a 2-year certificate and then take the exam to become an RN.
My sisters are nurses. I do know how those things work. I'm asking you about the specific classification that you created that lowers the cap.
We didn't remove that from a professional designation.
I know, but address the cap issue when it comes to the
I just did, because I said it does not impact.
But you said you were trying to lower the cost of tuition. How does that happen?
Because there are already colleges that are lowering the costs of their graduate programs because
what are those colleges?
There's a college in California, University of California in Irvine, and Purdue University in Indiana.
And is it for business or for
They have
nursing?
lowered them right now and for their business programs. I
Yeah,
hope
but we're
that they'll-
talking about nursing, ma'am.
Well, I hope that they'll look at other programs to
Because
reduce the
business is
cost.
not something that you had an impact on.
I don't have control over which programs they're doing, but if they have fewer applicants coming into their universities and they realize part of the reason is because their cost is too high, they will lower those costs.
I don't think that is how it works.
It's exactly how it
That
works.
is not how it works.
It is supply-
Your
it is supply
specific
and
job.
demand. It is supply
Your
and
specific
demand.
job is to try to make sure, as the head of the Department of Education, to make education accessible for Americans. When you create policies that make education unreachable for Americans that want that education, then you are failing at your job.
No, when there have not been caps on programs and universities have been allowed to charge whatever they wanted and the student loan program allowed them to borrow up to whatever that university said was the cost, it was time to take action and to put caps in place that are going
Yeah, but your caps only create a funnel through the private borrowing system.
That's not true.
Yes, that is what it will do. How else would somebody, if I wanted to get a professional degree and I'm capped.
Man, watching that entire clip, it's so clear why Secretary McMahon was the right pick for this role. Let's talk about what actually happened in that room, because Ilhan Omar kept trying to push a narrative that just doesn't match reality. First off, Omar tried to frame this as if the Department of Education actively went out of its way to strip nurses and social workers of a professional designation. McMahon set the record straight immediately. The statute itself never categorized them as professional degrees in the first place. You can't remove a classification that was never there in the federal law. Second, and this is the big one, Omar kept bringing up state nursing shortages in Minnesota and North Carolina. But McMahon pointed out something crucial that Omar completely ignored. Those shortages are in undergraduate programs. The new federal loan caps, they don't touch undergraduate programs at all. They apply to specific graduate programs. So trying to blame a current undergraduate workforce shortage on a brand new graduate loan cap is just fundamentally misleading. Now, let's look at the bigger economic picture here, because this is where McMahon really shines as a business executive. For decades, the federal government told universities, charge whatever you want and we'll guarantee the student loans. And what happened? Tuition costs exploded through the roof. Colleges built massive administrative bureaucracies and bloated their budgets because they knew the federal money train would never stop. When you put reasonable caps on how much federal loan money can be pulled for these graduate degrees, you finally force these universities to face reality. If colleges see their enrollment dropping because students can't overborrow, guess what they have to do? They have to lower tuition prices and actually compete on cost. That's basic supply and demand. McMahon even cited schools like UC Irvine and Purdue that are already adjusting their tuition costs to stay competitive. Omar kept insisting, that's not how it works. You're failing at your job. But honestly, who has been failing? The system that allowed colleges to charge $80,000 a year while saddling young Americans with crippling debt they can never pay back? Or the leader who is finally stepping up to put guardrails on federal spending and force universities to lower their prices? McMahon stayed calm, composed, and grounded in policy, while Omar relied purely on emotional rhetoric and repeated interruptions, protecting the taxpayer, stopping runaway tuition inflation, and bringing real accountability back to higher education. That's what fixing the system actually looks like. What do you guys think? Did Secretary McMahon handle that exchange like a pro? Or do you think Congress needs to keep federal loans uncapped? Sound off in the comments below. Share this video with a friend who loves political debates, and I'll catch you in the next one.